Hey, Heidi Easley here, Texas Art and Soul, and I am going to teach you how to paint this really cool, oops, baby, it's cold outside. So we are going to walk through exactly how to paint this, and it's really, really simple. You can do this on a porch leaner, and we call it a porch leaner or a porch sign that you can put outside your door, along with a really cute wreath or however you're going to decorate. So I'm excited to do this with y'all. What I did was I went ahead and got just a smaller porch leaner board. I'm going to measure this for you, but you can get creative and use this design, and I'll show you how to freehand it. But if you're a little nervous, I'll have the link in the description where you can grab the stencil. But actually, the way I'm going to show you is pretty easy. So I'm going to be using about a 10.5 wide to about 46. 46, so 46 inches, so about 10.5 wide by 46 inches. This is something you can either order or you can just make yourself with a couple of slats of wood. But like I said, this one is a little bit bigger, so I do my porch signs on all different kinds. So you can just have fun, kind of just get creative and do it on different sides. I'm going to see if that holds up a little better for y'all. Okay, so here's what I like to... No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm going to bring it back down. I don't like it like this. I'm going to bring it back down. Okay, so what I like to do first is just go ahead and get my circles where I want them. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and put my gray down. So we have a little bit of a darker gray. And here's the other really great thing about this. You know, we're going to have stencils where if you want to order the pack of stencils, I'm going to be using Baby It's Cold Outside. But this pack of stencils, and you can use my coupon code Texas Heidi, and you'll get a percentage off. So there's a Let It Snow, a Merry Christmas, and then a Baby It's Cold Outside. But I'm going to actually focus on this one today, and I'll show y'all how to do it. So we're going to use some black and some white, and I just grabbed some white paint, and then I'm going to grab just a little bit of black. Not much on there. And then I'm going to use one of these 2-inch brushes. It's a chip brush. And all I want to do is have kind of like a darker gray. Okay. So I'm just going to grab this and go ahead and paint the entire board gray, just like I'm painting a fence. Nothing major, just like I'm painting a fence. And if it's not going on smooth enough, you can dip your brush in water and just start to smooth it, and it makes it go a little faster, and it gets it on there a little thinner too. So I just use a darker gray and just place it on there. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Heidi Easley. I'm the owner of Texas Art and Soul, and I teach people how to make money teaching paint parties online, in person, and with art kits. So if you've ever thought about like doing your painting tutorials, you know, I teach a lot of ceramics, wood, and canvas. But you can use the same technique for jewelry making, for wreaths, for pretty much all of that. You can use my same marketing techniques to do the same type of selling. Okay, so let me move this chair out of the way. I'm getting excited. I want to get like all up in this, all over here so I can get to this gray. And any of the links you need for the stencils, or if there's a tracer, just check the description. We'll have it there for you. And remember, the stencils, you'll get at a discount. And it's one of my favorite places to buy stencils. So just make sure you use Texas Heidi, and you'll have access to that. Okay, now that we have the gray on here, this is where you can use paper plates if you want to kind of get the placement of your snowman. So what I've done is sometimes I'll just kind of freehand it. But what you can do is if you want the head, so you can see that's a perfect paper plate. So you could use a trash can if you have a circle trash can. But I'm just going to kind of show you. I'm going to start here and then just bring, let me see, I might bring my snowman. Yeah, I'm going to start about right there. All right, so all I'm going to do is switch to a 1-inch flat. I'm going to use some white paint. And just on that same messy plate, grab some white paint. And then all I want to do is just bring it down just a smidge because I want to have enough room for the bird and all of that great stuff. All right, so I have that traced. And now, once I have my circle for that, I just want to make this one a little bigger. Not much bigger, but a little bigger. So I'm just bringing it over and having it connect. And then I want this one to be way bigger. So this one's going to basically cover the rest of this, okay? And then I'll switch back to another 2-inch brush with white paint. And this is where I'm just going to do some big circles. Now, because my gray paint is still wet, you have 2 options. You can either wait a few minutes to let it dry, or you can be impatient like me because I like to just go for it. I like to go ahead and get my base coat on there. And then once it dries a second, I'll put another just quick little swoop of white paint. And remember, the thing with painting that's so fun and so easy is if you did something you didn't love, just let it dry. A few seconds later, you can literally just paint right on top of it. Another option, especially when you're working with canvas, is if you got something on there that you don't love, just use a baby wipe. A baby wipe is like an eraser. It will just erase it off, which is so cool. Okay, so I'm just painting right on top of this. All right, and the great thing about doing paint parties in person or with art kits or even online, the other day I did a paint party for 12 people, and I made $420 just for 12 people, teaching them a canvas painting at $35 a person. So what I love so much about, especially your, depending on when you're getting this tutorial, Christmas time and fall time is so profitable in the paint party world. So if you're like, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't know anything about that, right? But then you paint this and all of a sudden everybody's asking, where'd you get your porch leaner from? You could actually, you don't even have to do a paint party. You could just say, hey, I sell these. You can pay me $55 and I'll paint one for you. And it's been a really, really great and easy, profitable way for people to make money to pay for their Christmas or to do a really cool vacation or whatever is important to you. So I have loved that about paint parties because we have had some really great goals happen because of our paint party business. And one of those goals including, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, New York City. So years ago, we're actually going to recreate the trip we did 7 years ago with my paint party money. But we took a trip. It was 7 of us girls, including Pixie, my daughter, and we went to New York City and did ice skating and all the Christmas lights and all the fun stuff. So we're going to use my paint party money to recreate that same trip. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry just a second. I will put another little layer of white, but I want to show you how to paint the hat, okay? So I just have some green here. Now this green is just a Hauser light green. I'm actually going to grab for my paint wall a Hauser dark green too, okay? Actually, let me do a medium green. A Hauser medium green. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I just got off the phone with him, asking him about Pixie's in here wanting a pizza order. Should we let her have pizza? What's the next question? Or what do you want? I would like pizza too.
What kind of pizza?
Let's see. What about that?
Oh, and the cheesecakes that we made are in the fridge. Don't eat
Are
them.
they ready?
No, 2 hours.
They made cheesecake. Okay, so yes, order pizza. Will you get the Village Bistro
Yes.
for me and Daddy, and then I'll take just do like a small, and then I'll take a half salad with no cheese, no onions, add black olives.
Okay. And then when we go pick it up, which
Creamy Italian dressing.
well, I know that, but which car?
Oh, the BBB.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so on the snowman, what we're gonna do is
Wait,
we're
what
gonna.
salad do you want?
No cheese, no onions. Add black olives. Thank you. The side salad. Good job, Haley. Thank you. Okay, so on this one, all we're gonna do is just grab right here. I'm gonna try to put this a little closer so y'all can see it. I'm just using that Hauser dark green. And what I like to do is go out. So I'm gonna draw a line here. Let me use black so y'all can see it better. Hold on 1 second. I want y'all to be able to really see this, okay? So I'm gonna use black. So I'm gonna do a line here and then a line here. So it almost looks like it has two little horn type things. Then I'm just gonna bring it over and follow the curve of the snowman's head. So it almost looks like one of those, old school nursing hats. Then what you're gonna do is just about right here, you're just gonna go up again and then up again. And then you're gonna do kind of like a smiley face, like an upside down smiley face, okay? So I like to keep the hat kind of shorter, and I'm gonna go back to that green. And I know I have a little black on my brush, but I just really want y'all to be able to see it. And I'm gonna fill in with that green. So this is that Hauser green. You could use a brighter green, like a Kelly green if you wanted. You could kind of go, do whatever you want really. On whatever color scheme. You could make this if you really, I know everybody's Christmas and winter decorations are different. So like if if you have like blues and stuff like that, you could make this like a blue hat. You could make it, whatever color scheme you have going on, you could make it into that color scheme. I'm going to stick with the traditional kind of greens and reds, but feel free to get creative, to get crazy and do whatever you want. Okay, so let me make sure I have, actually, I want that dark green. I changed my mind. So for those of you that are buying the exact colors I am, I'm going to use the Hauser dark green. I want this to show up just a little bit more. So I'll show you what my plate looks like. I got to put my brush down and shake it. Always shake your paints if they're kind of watery coming out. That just means they've settled. And here you go. That's what my paint plate looks like. And then I'm going to dip. I'm not rinsing my brush. I'm just going straight to that darker. Oh, there we go. I'm just blending it in with that lighter just to get it to show up a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm also going to include in the description, I'll put a bunch of fun links for y'all there. But if you want to know more about how to do a paint party business, I'll put a fun freebie in there for you so you can grab it. And then I'll also put the links to the stencil that I'm going to be using. And then, yeah, if you want to find out more about me, I'd love to teach you more. We love everything there is about teaching people how to do paint party business. Because again, I always tell people, like, you don't have to be the best painter in the world, but you do have to have a passion for wanting to show people how to do these fun paintings. And so everything that I'm teaching is always like made for the beginner, so if you're brand new to this, don't freak out. This painting is made for you as the beginner so that you can have success with it. So I'm just taking a little bit of that dark green and just kind of lightly bringing it over. I'm going to dip into my light green. See how messy my brush is? Dip into my light green and just right here in the middle, just to kind of give it a look like it's 3D. So I'm just kind of brushing it across. Okay, and then the same thing below. I'm going to take a little bit of that lighter in here. We're gonna actually outline this whole thing, so don't worry too much if we hit on the outline a little bit. A little bit in here. Okay, and then you can grab some of the darker green and just pull it over. Sometimes if you have your lighter in there first and then grab your darker and then just kind of layer it on top. We have a hat. We have a hat, people. Okay, so another little fun trick with the hat. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush out. Rinse it all the way. Another little fun trick with the hat is adding little elements of this brown. This brown is a dark chocolate. You can also use, actually I'm going to go to the burnt sienna. So a burnt sienna is just a little bit of a lighter, and then I'm going to use black. So I'm going to go with the burnt sienna and then a black, which I already have out. And what I want to do is just add in some kind of just rough details, okay? So I'm going to grab a clean brush, the 1-inch, with a little bit of that burnt sienna. I'm just going to take it, bring it closer, and then just kind of add in just little hints of it. So I'm just blobbing it in. And you can use this, or you can use that dark chocolate, whatever brownish color you want to use is fine. And then with the black, I'll just wipe that off a little bit. I'm not really going to rinse it. I'm just going to wipe my brush off and load it up with some black paint. And now I'm just going to kind of dab in here. Okay. And we're going to outline it again, so don't worry. Don't worry too much about not having it outlined yet. Okay, so our snowman part is still drying a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and grab some pure white and get a little bit more pure white on top of that. I'm actually going to do this. Watch my technique here. Little bit of white, little bit of white, little bit of white. So now whenever I take my brush, I want to try to get that gray off of there. So I'm going to rinse my brush. Let me see. And dry it off. And then try to get more of just the white showing. So see how I'm just doing a circular motion because it is a snowball. And if it looks like it's mixing too much gray, just get you a little bit more white on there. And ideally, again, you could blow dry this. It'd make the process a little bit easier to blow dry it. And then when you put that white, it would go pure white instead of mixing. But I'm just not wanting to get the blow dryer out right now. Actually, I don't know where the blow dryer is right now. We just recently remodeled the art studio, and so it is somewhere. It's somewhere close to me, but I'm not sure where. Okay, so see how much that did just with putting a little bit more white paint? It just kind of makes it pop a little bit more. Okay, so we have that. So our gray on the background is pretty dry. Now this is where we're going to add in the birch trees. This is a really, really easy, fun process to add in the birch trees. So all I'm going to do, and again, this is a little bit of a smaller board than what I have as the example, but I've done this painting on canvas. I've done this painting on several different size boards, and it's totally fine on what you want to do. So if you want to make it a mini version or whatever, the only thing that would really be different is the stencil. The stencil wouldn't fit. So I'm going to grab my 1-inch flat, load it up with some pure white paint. And all I want to do is just, a birch tree does not have to be totally straight. I just want to kind of follow down here. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but just kind of think of the placement of where it's going to be. Okay? And then you're going to think about the next one. So the next one might be right here. Okay, and then is there a place I can put it? Nope. So then the third one's going to go about right here. Got a little bit of green right there. Let's give me some more white. Okay, so now what I do is I'm going to make this pure white, okay? So I'm going to grab this, grab my white paint, and I just want to go straight in and fill it in with pure white. This part you want to make sure it doesn't get the grayish in it. You want it to have that pure white. So it has, when we add the black, it has that birch tree look. And in just a second, you're going to see all of this will really start to pop, which is really fun to see. Okay, so just getting a lot of white on there. I'm loading my brush up really thick. Remember, this is going to have a black line around it, so you don't want to worry too much about that. Just kind of go around it with the pure white. You can actually see the difference because of the snowman having a little bit of gray in it. So it's not like you're going to lose your line. And let me know if you're going to paint one of these. Oh my gosh, I just love these on porches. And because it says, baby, it's cold outside, you can have it stay up through January. I mean, depending on where you're at, maybe not in Texas, but depending on where you're at, you could have it up, through February for sure. I know a lot of people decorate with snowmen through the winter, and you could change the scarf around a little bit, like I said, to make it not look Christmas colors. So if you did blues or purples, you could actually make this last all the way through the holidays and through probably February. So I know a lot of times, we're all painting spring and getting ready for spring in January or February, and especially people that are up north are like, we still have snow on the ground for like many, many months. It's so strange how just a plane ride away is a totally different condition. Isn't that strange? You can just be a plane ride away from snow or sun or totally different way of life. I had somebody here recently who was from San Diego, and she never sees rain. And so all of a sudden it started raining at our house. And she was like, oh my gosh, I have to go outside. I have to see the rain. I got to be in the rain. And I was like, wait, what's going on? And then she goes, we don't get rain. And if we do get rain, it doesn't, the ground gets so hard that it doesn't stick. It just floods. And so she was like, the smell of the rain. And it was almost so cool to see her, like that childlike, almost like how we are when we see snow. We're like, oh my gosh, it's snow. And, for Texas people, that's a big deal to us. We kind of freak out when we see snow because it's not common. Usually we get it like once every decade. And so when we see it, we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. We all freak out. Well, that's how she was about rain. And I thought it was such a cool, reminder to appreciate the little things, appreciate the rain, appreciate all those fun little things that we sometimes take for granted. Okay, so we have the base of where our birch trees are going to go. Now, what we want to do is kind of get the placement of where these arms are going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse this brush, and I'm going to grab some dark chocolate, which is just a dark chocolate. You can use any brown that you want. I'm going to grab a dark chocolate, and we're going to go ahead and place where we want these arms to be. And then we're going to let the white of the birch trees dry for a minute. So that way when we go to add the black, that it'll start to really pop, but it'll be dry enough to work. Okay, so loading my brush flat, just grabbing this brown both ways, get on both sides. Then what you want to do is just kind of think about your placement of your arms, okay? So I'm going to have one arm coming out here. Make sure you don't have it coming from the face. And my arm's going to kind of come out right here and go off the page. And then I would like a birdie to be sitting on it. So I'm going to have it go back on the page, or in this case, the wood, back on the wood. And I'm just going to push to make it a little thicker. So I have my arm here. So it's like it's being bent. And then I just want it to look more like a branch. So I'm going to do a placement there, and then just another little line there. Simple, done. Oh, and I dropped my brush in the white. Let me wipe that off. Okay, now I'm going to load my brown up again. This one, he could put it, down here, or it could go up. I'm actually going to have mine go up. So I'm going to have mine go off the page. Okay, so we got a line off the page. If you want a little thicker, load up your brush again, and then just push. I'm using the 1-inch flat. Okay, then you're going to grab it and think about kind of where you want the placement to be. Now, I want a red bird on top of this hat, so I don't want to get too crazy and make my branch way too up in that space. So I'm going to just have my branch go about right here through the hat, and then I'm just going to add in some lines for it looking like a tree to make it look like a tree. Okay, so I just have my line here off the wood, a line here and a line here. And another little easy trick is to just grab a little bit of black paint on your brush and go right underneath it and then load it up again with black paint, and it'll make it kind of pop. If you just put the black paint on one side, it just kind of makes the whole thing start to pop. So same thing here. I'm going to go right beside it with black paint. And again, if it's too wet, you might have to do a second coat or let it dry a minute and then use a blow dryer. And then right here, a little line. Okay, so while we have this out, while we have the black on here, I'm just going to dip in the black again and just do a little circle here, and a circle here for the buttons. So we got some buttons on there. Let me take a look at it. I'm going to bring that button over a little bit. And then because that paint is a little bit wet again, just going to blob on some black. It does not have to be a perfect circle. As you can see, I really don't believe in painting perfectly. I think it's more about painting and having fun than trying to make everything so perfect. That takes away the joy for me. So for me to have fun and do this, like, I don't mind if there's a few little mishaps here and there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and paint. Let me see if this is dry enough. Let's go ahead and get the face on here. Okay, so let me show you some little tricks for the face. And it's not too hard. I want to show you a little tip that will help you. So we're going to use what's called a canyon orange. Now this orange is perfect for snowman noses. I don't know why it's so perfect, but the color, just the way it looks, I just love the way it looks for a snowman's nose. So what I'm going to do is take that canyon orange, and I'm just going to use a liner brush, dip it into the beautiful canyon orange, and then our placement of it is almost in the center. So we're going to do a little smiley face almost in the center of this snowman's face. And then all I'm going to do is just tilt it a little bit. So I'm going to aim to about right here. So what I can do is just kind of find the placement and pull it up. Find the placement and pull it up. And then I'm just going to fill it in. And you can see how that white, again, is still a little bit wet. So I'm just going to fill it in on top of it, and it will mix together. Now, you may be saying, my carrot nose isn't going to turn out perfectly straight. Have you ever seen a carrot that is perfectly straight? No, that's why the beauty of this, because it will not turn out straight, and it should not turn out straight. It actually is better if it doesn't. Okay, so we got that placement. And whenever I do these as a paint party event, again, remember, if you're wanting to make money doing this as like an event, as a paint party, for a porch leaner like this, you want to make sure you have room. So if you're painting them, and I just did a bunch of little smiley faces to give it some texture. And I'm going to use a little bit of brown to add to that too. I'm not even going to rinse my brush. I'm just going to go straight to that brown and just start adding like almost like little smileys coming out. But if you want to do this as a paint party, which I have done, and I'll usually charge $65 for a painting this size. But the thing I want to caution you with is, let's say you've been doing paint parties at a restaurant or a country club. you need to make sure wherever you're doing your paint party, you have the space, because see how much space a 3 or a 4-foot porch sign takes versus just doing, or even when I do like the 6-foot welcome signs, it takes a lot more space. Now you can make more money, so you can charge, a higher price, but there's nothing worse than having a paint party and there's not enough room for your person. So just make sure if you do, if you can sell them as commission all day long, but if you do it as a paint party, just make sure, if normally you could fit 20 in there, make sure you're like, okay, we only have room for 6 or 8. But the price is higher and this is what you're going to get. Okay, so now I'm going to move to a Tuscan red. For anybody who is doing Christmas stuff, this is my favorite red for Christmas paintings. If you've ever done Christmas paintings or Christmas crafts, you'll know that not all reds are created equal. There's a lot of differences in reds, but this one is brilliant. It comes across really like dark and deep and just a beautiful Christmas red. So I'm going to show you real quick how to paint a little easy bird. And it's really simple. It's not hard at all. You're just going to take your liner brush, load it with red paint, and all you're going to do is almost like a little swoosh. So it's like a little swoosh, almost, if you want to think of Nike, if you want to think of whatever, it's just like kind of like a curvy check mark. Once you get that curvy check mark, you just bring it down and then a little hump. That's it. So once I get that, then I can fill it all in. So I'm going to switch to a little bigger brush so I can get a lot more paint on here, because I know once I start putting it on that white, it's going to turn pink. And I really don't want a lot of pink showing up, because I want this to be a bright red. Okay, so I got the first bird, and I'm going to add another bird right down here on this arm. So I have a little place right here for another bird, so I can go back to my liner brush, and I'm going to do a swoop the opposite way. So I'm going to take it here, swoop, like a backwards check mark, and then I'm just going to bring it in. There you go. Now you can switch to your bigger brush. It's about a round 6 or 8, and just fill it in. Okay. Once we have that all filled in, there we go. Okay, so we have the basis of our birds. Now we just rinse our liner brush, and now we can add some little black details. We can add the little mouth. We can add the little legs. And again, it's very, very simple shapes. I'm doing nothing major. I'm going to be keeping it as triangles and just basically stick figure lines and dots. So watch how easy this is. So I'm just going to grab my little brush. I'm going to do a little triangle. That's it. Another little triangle. It'd be cute too if you wanted to like put a little line and have it maybe hold a snowflake or something like that. It could get real cute. And then just 2 little legs. Little stick figure legs. Nothing major. And then what I like to do is just a little heart for the wing. A heart for the wing. This is very wet paint. I recommend letting it dry just a minute. And then just turn your brush over on the back and then doing an eye. Brush over on the back, do an eye, and then grab it and make a little heart for a wing. And then you can, if you want, you can add like a little black line underneath it just to make it have some shading or whatever if you want. Okay? All right, so now we're gonna add these little easy things to the face. So what I like to do is, again, stay with my liner brush with the black paint. Right under it, I'm gonna add a circle. Now this circle automatically makes the snowman look like he's singing. So there's where you start. The snowman is singing, he's in a store and he's singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing. And then what I like to do is just add a dot here, a dot here, and a dot here. I'm gonna make them a little bigger, but I just like to find my placement of where I want them. Then I'm gonna make it a little bigger, but not as big as this one. A little bigger, and then just a little smaller. So it gets smaller as it goes up. So it's just a little bigger, or a little smaller, I'm sorry. It goes a little bigger. Let me try that again. Biggest to smallest, biggest to smallest. So if you need to go in and kind of fix it to where it has that feeling of bigger to smaller. And then the eyes we made real simple for you. You just grab your brush and it's just basically a upside down smiley face. You can get all creative and do all kinds of fun stuff, but we just wanted to make it super simple with the upside down smiley. All right, so I'm going to switch to the red and put a scarf on this really cute snowman. So I'm going to go back to that red with the 6, it was like a 6 or an 8 round. And all I'm going to do first is just bring this down and just make a smiley face again. Smiley face again. And then just kind of bring it over and smiley it again so I can fill all this in. We want it to look like it's going on the snowman's body, so we might have to bring it over just a tad. And then we'll have one that's going off the page. And then we'll have the other part of the scarf that's going here. And just fill it in. I'm just going to dip with a lot of thick red to just kind of cover up some of that pink it's making. Okay, and then you can go back to the liner brush to grab, and then I like to do like just a little hint of some scarf, just little 3 lines. You can do single lines, but I think it's fun just to kind of do the 3 lines. So now we have a good red on there, and we'll let that dry while we're doing our birch tree. Okay, so now we want to rinse that. And I have a couple ways I want to show you how to do the birch tree. The first way is we're going to use the, not that one, we're going to use the flat 1-inch brush. Okay, so this flat 1-inch brush comes in handy a lot. Let me go ahead and get it cleaned off really good so I can make sure that we get a good pure black for this part. So again, this is a flat 1-inch brush. I'm going to use black paint, so I want to make sure I have a plate that just has black on it, so it's not mixed anywhere. I'm going to load it up here and here. And then what I want to do is just basically outline my birch tree first. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to turn it on its side and just bring it down. So I want the line, I want it lined first. So the tree starts to pop already immediately. And don't worry if you get out of line, it's not the end of the world. Just load your brush up. Bring it on over. Okay, now what you're going to do is take that same, you're going to load it with that black paint. And what I like to do is just kind of bring it over, flop it over on both sides. So I'm just kind of, let me see, as I get here, you're going to be able to see it a little closer. But I'm just kind of flopping it over and then bringing this part over like this. So it's a little bit of a flop this way. We don't want to do it the whole way. Think about a birch tree. Okay, and then all you do is just take your same brush, turn it this way, and just get some new black and just make some real pronounced lines on both sides. So sometimes you start on the right, sometimes you start on the left. Okay, same thing on this one. We're going to do some little lines going like this. And then we're also going to go this way. And then same thing on this one. See how easy and quick it is to make it go from just a straight line to now a birch tree? Okay, now I'm just going to bring in some lines. You should go back to your black so you have some more pronounced lines. Okay, now that we have those, we're just going to outline the hat with black, just using the same brush. And if it gets to where I can't get to a spot, I'll switch over to a smaller brush. But I'm just going to outline the hat and go ahead and outline the whole snowman. And if you need to pause this at all, you can. I'm just going right around. And this will get easier as you get more comfortable with painting, doing these big circles like this. So I just hold it where all the bristles are touching at once. Okay. Same thing with the scarf. It's a little wet, but we'll just try to go on the side of it. I know, I need to find my blow dryer. Please forgive me. It is easier when you have it dry, I promise. Okay, so we got that done, and then we can go over the birds. Actually, I'm going to leave the birds undone, and I'm going to leave the carrot part undone. Okay, so while this is drying for the scarf, we're going to go ahead and add in some snow in the background, and we're going to get ready to do our stenciling right here for the baby It's Cold Outside. Again, if you're wanting to purchase this stencil, it has a 3-pack of this, plus Let It Snow, plus I believe it says Merry Christmas or something like that. It's one of my favorite companies. If you click the link and use coupon code Texas Heidi, it will save you some money. So you can use Texas Heidi and it will save you some money. And I would appreciate it because it keeps me stocked in coffee. And they give me a little kickback for using their product. But I love their product so much. So it's definitely a product I use all the time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the liner brush. I'm going to grab some white paints. And this is very simple, y'all. I'm just grabbing it and just putting some dots. Because now it has snowed. Because baby, it's cold outside. So I'm just doing some dots even into the hat. And then I'll show you how to actually add the dots, or I'm sorry, add some snow into like it's laid on the hat, or it's a little bit on the arm or something like that too. So you can just grab a little bit of white like this, and you can just put a little bit of snow like it's fallen on the hat. So have a little bit of snow there. Maybe we want to just do a big old fun line. Sometimes it's fun just to add, you know, white accents here and there. But then you can also use it as places where snow has fallen. So if I wanted to, I could grab this and put a little bit where like the arm is, like a little bit of snow has fallen on the branch. We could do that if you want, just wherever. But really just adding in some fun white lines throughout the painting. There as well. I'm going to add in a little bit onto there. Okay. All right. So we have the snow on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the stencil before I do the stripes on the scarf. So when you do the stencil, you want to make sure it's laid flat, and then pick your stencil and then kind of place it. So on this board, we're going to have it kind of go on top of some of the stuff. So baby, it's cold outside. I want to make sure outside all of it can fit. So I'm just kind of placing it on the bottom part of the snowman. Let me see if that'll tilt a little bit. Okay, so you can use a stencil brush. You can use any kind you want. Let me see if I can find my stencil brush real quick, because it works really good. And you can also get these with the Texas Heidi coupon code. There it is. Okay, so whenever you're doing stenciling, I'm going to sit down for this because this one, you want to grab your color. We're going to use black. You can use any color you want. But I'm going to use some black paint. And what you want to do is you want to basically grab your color. So this is the stencil brush I'm using. I'm going to grab my color, and then I'm just basically going to take most of it off. So I've grabbed it, and then I'm taking it off. Then when I do that, now I can just go kind of up and down, okay? So I'm grabbing it, taking a lot off, and then up and down. Grabbing it, taking some off, up and down. Now this makes it where it's a lot cleaner on your lines. Like I said, I'm not the most patient painter, so a lot of times I'll do it faster, and then I'll just take my liner brush and I'll clean it up real fast. If this part is shaking your video, just kind of fast forward through this part. You get the gist. But I reuse these stencils over and over, and when I take them to paint parties, multiple people use them. And I know a lot of people clean their stencils. I'm not that person. I just let it dry. So for people in paint party situations that need it for the next person, what we do is I wipe it off with a paper towel. I don't try to clean it, because if it gets wet, it's almost like it reactivates the paint, and then it'll ruin the next person's artwork because they'll go to set it down. So what we like to do is we like to just use a paper towel, dab it off, let it dry a minute, and then let the next person use it. So like I said, I've done a ton of porch signs for paint parties. And I'm not buying a stencil for every person. Usually I recommend one stencil for every 2 to 3 people. And then you just want to keep them moving along so that everybody gets a chance at the stencil. And if you have some paper towels there or whatever, you can easily just wipe them down for them. Sometimes I set the paper towels on the floor and then I put the stencil, I set another layer and I just walk on them and walk back and forth. Plus I love cowboy boots and I always wear cowboy boots to my paint parties. So anytime I can wear my cowboy boots and show off my cowboy boots, I'm like, okay, this is a good day. Anytime I get to be in my cowboy boots, it's a good day. It's like something fun's happening. Do you have that pair of shoes that you know if you're wearing them, something fun's happening? That's how I feel like my cowboy boots. Something fun's gonna happen. Okay, so once you get it on there, just pull it up. All right. And this also has a bunch of snowflakes, as you can see. I'm not going to use them, but you can use them too. You can put snowflakes all over this. Okay, so as I was telling y'all, because I did mine a little faster, you can clean it up. So I'm going to show you a little bit closer so I can clean that up with a liner brush. Another good tip that you can see that I did right here is I just took a different color and went in and made all this pop. So I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. So if you just take your liner brush again, pick whatever color you want to stand out. So I'm going to grab this lighter green. Let me grab the green. And then I'm just going to take my liner and just right here on the edge and kind of going inside, it'll start to bring it together. Let's see. So we're going on the left and then the inside. So the left and then the inside. How you feeling? Are you excited? I hope you're painting this with me. If you're not painting it with me, I hope that you will go get the stuff so you can paint it with me. You can always take this video and watch it again or pause it so that you can show me what it looks like. And if you want to send me a text, you can text me and send me a picture of what yours looks like. So I'm going to set this right here so you can get a good screenshot of that. But you can text me and send me a picture of what yours turned out like. Or if you have questions about starting a paint party business, you're more than welcome to text me and then we will give you the information that you need. Oh, I'm glad the girls went to go get pizza. My stomach is growling. Hopefully you can't hear it. You might be able to. I'll just try to keep talking. Okay, just bringing this over. So remember left and inside. Here goes my stomach again. Might have hurt at that time. Left and inside. Okay. And then now all we have to add is the scarf. So if you want to screenshot this, if you want to text me, if you have questions about paint parties, or if you want to send me a picture of your baby it's cold outside. I would love to see it. And you can also text the word stencil if you're unsure of how to get the coupon code. Text the word stencil and we will send that right back to you. Okay, so to do the part on here, you could do polka dots, you could do whatever, but I just like to take a liner brush and just bring down some stripes. Now, when I teach this to people, some go really crazy and make really, really awesome scarves that make my scarf look like a kindergartner did it. So you can go really, really creative and make it amazing. But for just simplicity's sake, because again, when I'm teaching beginners how to paint, I don't like to go too overboard on the details that don't need to be overboard. That way, you know, like this part could be like, okay, that's all. I just have to do stripes. I can do stripes. That's not a big deal. Because that way, you know, you can put more attention on when you're doing the birds or stuff like that. So yeah, there she is. So this is a porch leaner. So these are really, really pretty to put up outside your door. You can hang a wreath by it. You could put some poinsettia plants, whatever you want. And then if you want, you know, any more information about how to do a paint party, stencils, any of that kind of stuff, just go ahead and text me or look in the description below. And then use coupon code Texas Heidi if you want a discount for the stencils. And I'd love to help you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, my name is Heidi Easley, Texas Art and Soul, and I teach you how to make money teaching paint parties online, in person, and with art kits. And I hope you had fun with this. And I hope that you will paint it, and I would love to see it. All right, have a great time. Bye.